Welcome to this lesson, and in this lesson we will be learning about comparing and ordering fractions. Remember, we said that a fraction is a part of a whole and it has got a numerator and a denominator. For example, in a fraction 3 out of 5, we say that 3 is the numerator and 5 is the denominator. Okay, so in this lesson we will see how to compare and order fractions. When we compare fractions, we want to know which fraction is smaller than the other, or which fraction is greater than the other. And when we order fractions, we start either from the smallest to the biggest, or from the biggest to the smallest. Now, in number 1, let us compare 3 out of 5 and 7 out of 10. We want to know which fraction is smaller. We have got 3 out of 5 and we also have 7 out of 10. Now, what we can do for this kind of a problem, we can try to make sure that the denominators for these two fractions are the same. For instance, here the denominator is 5, whereas here the denominator is 10. Now, let us make the denominator in the fraction 3 out of 5 also become 10. So, it means that we can multiply by 2 both by the numerator, both in the part of the numerator and in the part of the denominator. Once we do that, we will get 6 out of 10. Now, we will compare 6 out of 10 and 7 out of 10. Now, by doing that, you see that 6, you can see that 6 is smaller than 7. Therefore, we say that 6 out of 10 is smaller than 7 out of 10. Remember, 6 out of 10 is equal to 3 out of 5. So we say that 3 out of 5 is smaller than 7 out of 10. We can also write it in this format where we use the symbol of smaller than. You can call it smaller than, you can call it less than. Okay, let us get another example. Let's compare 1 and 2 out of 3 and 1 and 5 out of 6. We want to know which fraction is greater or which fraction is bigger. So we have got 1 and 2 out of 3, and we have also got 1 and 5 out of 6. So now you can see that this is a mixed number. But the challenge is that the part of a whole, here we have 1 and here we have got 1. Since 1 is equal to 1, Let us now move on to the part of a proper fraction, where we have 2 out of 3, and we have 5 out of 6. So let's have 2 out of 3, and we also have 5 out of 6. Now let us make the denominators look same. So since this is 6, let us also make this 6. We can multiply by 2, and we also do the same on the part of the numerator. And this means that we get 4 out of 6. Now this means that 1 and 2 out of 3 is equal to 1 and 4 out of 6. Okay? Now, look at 4 out of 6 and 5 out of 6. They have got the same denominator, but the numerators are not the same. This is 4 and this is 5. And we know that 4 is less than 5. So we can conclude and say that 1 and 5 out of 6 is greater than 1 and 4 out of 6. But remember that 1 and 4 out of 6 is equal to 1 and 2 out of 3. So we can now rewrite it and say 1 and 5 out of 6 is greater than 1 and 2 out of 3. And then we can show this using the greater than sign. Okay? In number 3, let us compare 1 and 2 out of 3 and 9 out of 6. We want to know which fraction is greater. Greater means bigger. We want to know which fraction is bigger. Now, we have got 1 and 2 out of 3, and also we have got 9 out of 6. So you can see that we have got a mixed number and an improper fraction. Now, let us convert this mixed number to an improper fraction, such that we get 5 out of 3. Now we have got 5 out of 3 and 9 out of 6. Let us make sure that the denominators of these two fractions are the same. Since we have the denominator in 5 out of 3 as 3 and the denominator in 5 out of 6 as 6, let us make sure that both denominators are the same. So we can multiply 3 by 2 such that we get 6, but also we multiply 5 by 2 and we come up with 10 out of 6. So we have 10 out of 6 and 9 out of 6. And you can see that 10 is bigger than 9. Therefore, 10 out of 6 is greater than 9 out of 6. But remember that 10 out of 6 is equal to 1 and 2 out of 3. So we can say that 1 and 2 out of 3 is greater than 9 out of 6. And we can write it using a symbol of greater than. And we have it written like this. Okay? Okay, let us move on to example number 4. This part we have got to arrange in decreasing order. Decreasing order means from the biggest to the smallest. So we have got 3 fractions. We have got a mixed number, which is 2 and 3 out of 5. Then we have got an improper fraction, which is 37 out of 10. And then we have got an improper fraction, which is 14 out of 5. So what we can do, let us make all of them be mixed numbers. In this part we get 3 and 7 out of 10. This part we will get 2 and 4 out of 5. Okay? Next, let us make sure that all the denominators are the same. Since this is 7 out of 10, the denominator is 10, we can make this also become 10. So we will multiply by 2 and we also multiply by 2, such that we get 2 and 6 out of 10. And this side we multiply by 2 and multiply by 2 and we get 2 and 8 out of 10. Now let us put them in order from the biggest to the smallest. Already we can see that this is 2, this is 3, and this is 2. So this is the biggest, so it is number 1. Next, we have 2 and we have got 2. Next we look at the proper fraction, 6 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. We know that 8 is bigger than 6, so this will be number 2, and of course this will be number 3. So we can write them in order from the biggest. We get 37 out of 10. Next we get 14 out of 5, and the last one, which is the smallest, we get 2 and 3 out of 5.